Pete, a lot of people talk about service in the industry, agents who give the best service, so forth. What are your thoughts about that? What's your philosophy and where did that come from?
Right, okay. Well, it's funny because I think people, especially in real estate, we always talk about, you hear agencies brag about how great their service is. And there's a big emphasis on the word service. I actually don't like using that word service. I think that's sort of like the end result of other ideals. But anyway, we won't get into that sort of, that's a deep conversation. But really, I like to talk about being of service. I think that's the key, and it's a primary difference. So our guys and our team and myself, we think of when we're working for somebody, we're in service to them. So we're actually working to their greatest good. We're working to what they want to achieve, not what we want to achieve. So it's about them, it's not about us. And I think that's a primary, crucial point of difference. Recently, we had this experience with a buyer from Hong Kong he's an expatriate living in Hong Kong. He'd been contacting agents about properties for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and nobody responded to his emails. Now, I've got to say, when I got the email from him, it was a little bit bizarre the way it was written, because he is Chinese, but he is a naturalised Australian, and so his language was a little bit, clumsy, I think, in a sense, but it's his second language, so, actually he speaks great English. But I just put myself out of the picture. It's not about me, it's about him and serving him, his inquiry. So I put that aside, and he told me that not one other agent had contacted him or responded to any of his emails. And by the time I'd contacted him, he was so frustrated. He bought the property because he really wanted it, but it actually made it easy for his decision making because of that frustration. Serving is what it's all about. You asked me about where did I learn to serve and where did that come from? Well, I actually started off my career well before I was in real estate in the wool industry, and I know it's cool how we're walking past fashion right now, although that's not wool. But the wool industry was where I learned my basics of service, and I learned that from sweeping the floors. And I hated sweeping the floors. It was a terrible job, and if I made it about me, I would never have lasted in that job, because it was a terrible, difficult, awful job in tough conditions, sweeping a 2-acre wool store by hand on timber floors, calluses, bloodied hands every day, and hot, terrible conditions. But I just made it about the big picture of serving my boss, serving his business, and really looking after him. And I just did that everywhere we went. I went in the wool trade, one step after the other. And eventually I got to a point where I was serving clients from all around the world, in Germany and Russia and China and India, and serving their needs and always putting their needs first and mine second. And now, these days, I see it in real estate. Think about it. You see all these news ads out at the moment, and these motorbikes driving around trying to tell everybody that they should be advertising their properties in the newspapers, and that's because advertising in newspapers is dwindling, and that's because the internet and the way we market digitally is actually really one of the most powerful ways to sell property. So we serve our clients' needs, and we do things for their benefit. So we don't do a lot of print media simply because digital works. But here's the thing, it's not necessary. And the thing is, I've been to training over the year, real estate training, and they teach agents, get print media. If you get print media and get your vendor to spend big money in print media, they have got the biggest chance of getting more. You'll become the top agent in your area. You'll become very well known. Just think about all the really well-known agents in Brisbane. They all do print media. They've all been taught to do print media because, and I'm ranting and raving now, but it really annoys me, because that's about serving their own needs. It's not about serving their clients' needs. We're about serving our clients' needs. So sometimes we will do print media if we think it's going to help them. But generally speaking, digital media is all you need. So Serving, and this philosophy of mine would apply to any business, not just real estate. So if you're listening to this now and you've got a small business, don't make it about you, make it about your customer, make it about your clients, make it about a big picture that you're serving, a higher ideal other than yourself, and yeah, take your own ego out of it. So I hope that answers your question, Karen Hutton.
So really, to sum it all up, the question a vendor should be asking is, who does this agent serve? And they can investigate that by looking at their methodology and the way they serve.
Yeah, so that's a great question. Who does the agent serve? What the advice that they're giving you, is that serving them or is it serving the client? Is it serving the agent or is it serving the client? And that's all that you have to figure out all the time. And that's it. So I think Karen's trying to tell me something. I don't know what you're saying there, Karen. You're giving me all these directions. Okay. Are we finished? I think that answers the question. Yeah. Okay. Till next time.